Hello and welcome to the Mindful Making video podcast. My name is Jane and I am Danish. I live in Australia in Hornsby Heights, north of Sydney, and I live here with my husband and my two young adults. So my daughter is 19 and my son is 16, and I also have a son who lives in Denmark. Mindful making is mostly about knitting, and it's about sharing the joy of making with our hands and the pleasure that brings. Today it is the 5th of December, and can you believe it? We're in December. Well, I can't, this year has just been both very, very long and then felt very, very short. It's just passed by so quickly. But we are in December, and I have an Advent candle running. I don't know whether you can see it, but I am still a day behind, but it will be Christmas anyway. I hope you have your knitting project or crochet or whatever you like, and maybe a cup of tea. I have a tea calendar as well. So today it is what was it now? It was tropical lemongrass that's in the cup. Usually my son gets to open it first, so he has enjoyed most of our teas so far. But I beat him to it today, so I get to enjoy a lovely cup of tea. In the Mindful Making episode today, I have one finished object and one finished object that has turned into a whip, and a whip work in progress that is almost finished. Towards the end of the episode, I will talk a bit more about life in general, but relax, sit back, and I hope you will enjoy the next half hour or so with me. Welcome back if you have been here visiting this channel before, and a heartfelt warm welcome if you're new and checking out the channel for the first time. I hope you will enjoy it, and for everyone, please leave a message in the comments below. That just makes it all so much more engaging, and I just love that communication and the community that we have around our craft, and that we can share our stories from around the world. So welcome, og velkommen til jer i Danmark. I know a lot of you are watching from the Northern Hemisphere, where it is dark and cold and possibly with a bit of snow. We are all preparing for the holiday season. Here in Australia it is summertime, or it should be summertime, but they have declared this year to be a La Nina year, so it is colder and wetter than normal, and actually it's been raining throughout almost November. There hasn't been a lot of days of beautiful summer weather. We haven't been in the pool, and it's quite unusual for November, and now moving into December it's usually sunny and warm, but not so much this year. Enough chitty chatter. Apart from just saying where you can find me, Instagram, I'm Mindful Making. I am Mindful Making AU on Ravelry. And I also have an Etsy shop of that name, and a Facebook page called Mindful Making. They are, however, not so active, and I'm considering whether I should drop the Facebook page. I'm interested to hear your opinion. Where do you go for inspiration and your social media life? Is that do you use Facebook or is it more Instagram? I know that I connect more through Instagram, so that's where I'm most active, and on Ravelry, of course. Let's move into a knitting part, what I am wearing. So today I am wearing the Miserina T, I think, and it's a design by Caitlin Hunter. I finished this earlier in the year, I think last year. I have to check my notes then. I had to look up my projects page on Ravelry to check it out, and you can see all the details there if you're interested, and I've linked to the Ravelry page in the comments box. No, not the comments box, the description box below. So, well, I finished this in September last year. This is worked in size 4 in the pattern. I did go up a few sizes because my gauge was different from what's called for in the pattern. I have used 2 strands of Holst yarn, so the coast yarn, which is a cotton wool blend, a sort of very light fingering towards lace weight yarn, so I held 2 strands together, the grey, and that's the colorway Lead, and then the contrast color is from Union Fiber, and that colorway is called Pinot. I use this top a lot, and always when I wear it I get a lot of positive comments. It is a bit to the smaller size with very short sleeve and also quite short in the body, as you can see. But I like wearing it over, well, jeans or a skirt that I do not wear that often, but just with a tank top underneath. So that is what I am wearing today. You may wonder why I sort of have a clothes rack behind me, but I had to find a place for this rack, and I thought that should be my, now here in my craft room, that should be my showroom as well for my designs. So I've just put up a few shawls here, and well, every day in my craft, and which is also my day job office space, I get reminded of beautiful knitting and sort of the pride of having those sorted. This one is this is the rosehip shawl that I made from some leftover sock yarn that I had. The original pattern colorway is over here in the beautiful purple and yellow. So, and then this is a Sarissa. But anyway, what I have been working on this month. So the first finished object. The first finished object is a pair of socks. I will just they are ready to be gift wrapped. They will be a gift for I won't tell, but it will be a Christmas gift. I have used Highland sock yarn from Holst Garn, and in the charcoal color, and then I added some leftovers here. This is called Marine, I think, in the cuff, and just this, I used a bit of this Pinot as I also have here in my tee, just a tiny stripe on the cuff, and then I repeated this on the toe. So I like this little detail with blue on the top of the leg. It's probably the cuff. And repeated it on the toe. These are my, as I've said before, favorite go-to everyday sock with a 2x2 ribbing, heel flap and gusset. Now I will take them apart so you can see them. So heel flap and gusset, and then a just a stockinette under the foot. Oh, let me think. I think this is 68 stitches on a 2.5 millimeter needle. But let me check what is written here in my book. Yes, 2.5 millimeter and 68 stitches. Knitted 2 at a time, cuff down. Oh, I've used 320 meters of yarn for those. And it is in a men's size. So those are the first finished object of today. The second object that I will talk about is an almost finished object. In the last episode, I talked about a summer breeze tee, and that I would knit up a second version, and the second version is almost finished. I wanted to make this summer tee out of one skein of yarn. There are 800 meter in this lace weight yarn, but I did run out. Here I have just started the hem, and I've used all the yarn and I haven't swatched. It's all gone into this tee. So that is the almost finished object. Then moving into the finished object that has turned into a work in progress. My first version of this summer tee, I've knitted in the same yarn last year or the year before possibly, where I had actually, I bought a new skein of yarn because I could see that it would be a bit too short though with the hem. So I bought the new skein of yarn, which was actually this. It is the same color name, but as you can see, they are widely or significantly different. So this was the original one, which is much more muted and pale. Yeah, as you can see, you know, hand-dyed yarn comes out differently, and that's absolutely fine. But I had used this yarn as the hem down here. This morning though, I ripped it back, and to gain that, just that little bit of yarn that was sitting there. So now I have this little nugget that can add then to, that I will knit in. It's everywhere. That I will knit into this this summer tee, and it will be finished. I think that will be done tonight when watching TV. So that is an almost finished top. To talk a bit more about this top, I had actually knitted down to here. Tried it on, but there was too much fabric just in the beginning up here around the sort of chest area. So I ripped it all back, did the maths again and checked my gauge. I think basically my gauge was a bit off, my own gauge, which is fine. And then I just changed rate of the increases, so it was more subtle increases, and it's much better now, much better now. So I really like it, and I can't wait for this to be finished. I have written up the first draft of the pattern. It still needs to be reviewed by me and then go through the tech editing process, and then it will be ready to test knit. And thank you for many of you who have replied back and expressed your interest in test knitting this little tea. Information will come out as soon as the pattern is ready for you to test it out. Hopefully, won't be too long now. So that's this one. And as I said, it is a lace weight yarn. So any yarn that runs 700, 800 meters per 100 grams, I think will work very well. This yarn has a lot of silk, so it drapes, and I think it will grow slightly with wash and wear, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing this. It's just a beautiful fabric to wear next to skin, this light fabric. Summer Breeze Tea, second version, I think will be finished today or tomorrow. Probably tonight. Coming back to the now work in progress tea, I had to find then a yarn that I could add to the hem. So I chose this one. This is again the Coast yarn from Holzgarn. The color is fairy as far as I remember, and I think that would sit. And now there is a lot of beautiful sunlight in the room, but I think this will work really well with the original hand-dyed yarn. So that will soon be a finished object again. Looking at how much yarn I have knitted up in November. So November had 2 finished objects because there was a jumper that I talked about last time or last episode, but is now included in the November. So I have knitted up 2,320 meters. I am approaching, hopefully I will get to around 20 kilometers of yarn in 2021. So that was the finished objects and what is on the needles basically. I do not often have many projects to talk about because I am a monogamous knitter. I like to focus on the process and just knit whatever is on my needles. I have really enjoyed the plain stockinette round and around, easy knitting, just letting my hands work. I have been able to read a bit while I've been knitting. The book that we are reading in the book club this month is My Own Kind of Girl by Clare Bowditch. This book, it is a beautiful read about mental health and the stories that we tell ourselves, and how we can tell new stories, the inner dialogue that we all have, and change those stories that we tell ourselves. I am halfway through, and the meeting and the book club evening is on Tuesday. So I have 2 days. I don't think I will finish. But I like having a simple knit, and then I can read a bit at the same time while the hands are working. That is a super joy for me. Then we might talk knitting plans, and the next thing, although that I have my Scrabby Striber jumper still gathered in a bag, the next project for me might be with this yarn. By Carola Down Under, and it's a plant dyed yarn, hand dyed. And then I am thinking of doing a bit of slight color work with colors like this, sort of brown or that mustardy yellow. And I am thinking a round yoke again with a bit of color work up here. This is a blue-faced Leicester BFL and bamboo 80/20. I think this will be a summer tea as well. When my summer breeze tea is finished, I will wind up this yarn, and I'm looking very much forward to swatching and see how it behaves and how it knits up and how it would work with inserts of colors like these. Yeah, I like them. This mustardy is it's an alpaca yarn from Holst. I will probably need to hold the yarn double. Can't wait. This will be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I think this will probably be a short episode today, but before I let you go, I will just show a few things that is available in my Etsy shop. Of course, all my patterns are there, but I also just wanted to say that I have a few of produce bags that I've sewn for a few years. I have the last batch of them available or up in the shop. So it's like these, so it's a bundle of 5 bags, 3 small sizes and then a medium, and then the black one is a larger size, is a double drawstring, and it is in a mesh, so it's reusable produce bag to use in, you know, grocery shopping. I think I have 12 or something bundles ready for sale, if that was something for a little gift for somebody special for Christmas. I also, you know, looked at other options for reusing material and thought of Christmas gifts, but I don't think it won't make it for Christmas gifts, but and it's not for sale yet. It's just something I played around with. But an old linen shirt from my husband has become, they are all bundled up with an elastic band here. These are from a linen shirt my husband had, and with cotton t-shirt fabric in between. So they are just squares, and then using for removing makeup. And then I have made these little wash bags with a Ziploc, so you can put in these makeup removal pads and then close it and then throw them in the washing machine. Thereby they won't sit everywhere in the washing machine, and you can just you know, take them out and hang them up to dry like this. Shove them around, so, and then hang up the bag for them to dry. So we have used these a lot in our home. My daughter uses them as well instead of the cotton pads. So it's a good way of reusing old material. Of course, you could make them round or any shape you want to. I just found it so much easier just to do a square and cutting. And it does fray a bit, so I think that's why they won't be for sale. It would just be for our own use here at home. But there are a few of those. This is a men's shirt turning into makeup removal pads. Yeah, an idea maybe for you as well. So this was just leftover fabric from the produce bag, and I added in a little zipper. That was the crafty and knitting related content. Next, I thought I would tell a bit about November month, which was a bit challenging for our family. But if you're not interested in that, thank you so much for staying on for so long. If you like what you see, please give a thumbs up, and I would be happy if you wanted to subscribe as well. Then I will just take my knitting and to get going, because it's so cozy just sitting here knitting with you guys and talking about life stuff. Yeah, so I will start, or I will start to finish. I will aim to finish the summer tea. Since I recorded last time, we have had a few challenges in my family, not the family here living here, but my mum, who is 89, hasn't been well. She has always lived by herself, managing her life, and just had help coming in every 2 weeks. But suddenly during late October, she turned more and more sick, or confused, and yeah, she wasn't well. So she was admitted to a nursing home to try out and trying to help her. And suddenly, going from, as I said, being self-sufficient and then requiring help for care was a bit of it was very stressful for her. And then moving to the nursing home, and she's actually been in and out of hospital a few times. So that's been very hard for especially my younger brother, who is the one who lives closest, and for all of us, and especially for my siblings who live closer. It's, when being here in Australia and she's in Denmark, I can't be there. So I'm just so grateful for my siblings that they have taken over, and also I feel a lot of guilt that I cannot be there and provide the support and help she needs, and also supporting my siblings who are there. But I try to do the best that I can, supporting from the distance. So it has been a bit tough for me as well. So I think it impacted me a lot, and probably maybe slightly dipping into a bit of a depression during the month. But it's better now. So I've been sleeping a lot. My body just told me you have to sleep, low of energy and sleeping a lot. But it's much better now. But we are in December, and we are looking forward to the holiday season, and I'm looking forward to a break from work, having 2 weeks off, which would be lovely, and of course looking forward to my son arriving. In the Southern Hemisphere, a summer Christmas, which is very different from a winter Christmas. For me, it's still not right. I do miss December, with all the darkness, but with all the candles, with all the fairy lights, and with all the sweets and the spices and the mulled wine, and yeah, everything about a winter Christmas. But summer Christmas is very nice indeed as well. So yesterday we picked up our Christmas tree. Although we are not celebrating Christmas, we are invited out to friends. I wanted a Christmas tree, and we get a fresh one. So at the end, I'll just insert a few, 1.5 minutes, if that long, of us getting our Christmas tree. Home, it hasn't been decorated yet. That will happen as soon as my daughter comes home. She is part of that tradition. That brought us to the end of this episode number, which I think is number 35 of the Mindful Making podcast. I hope you've had a great time. I hope you've had a bit of, got a bit of knitting done. And then if I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. See you then. Bye.
Checking it twice. He's gonna find who's somebody online. Santa Claus is coming to town. As he sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. He knows that you've been down, so they got for goodness sake. You better watch out. Better not cry, better not pout. I'll tell you why. The Santa Claus is coming.
Yep. The beer.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. See you next year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.